Welcome everyone to this is our first ever workshop, and we're going to show you how to build agents for GTM in the easiest manner possible. And what I can promise you is that by the end of the session, you'll be armed with certain agents that require no further setup and no API calls. I'll introduce myself here. I'm Shayanto, one of the co-founders and the CEO of nRev. And with me, I have Aradhya. Hopefully, I also have Jared joining us, who all of y'all might know is the founder of Rev Genius. And Aradhya is the head of product at nRev. We have a brilliant audience coming in as well. And thank you so much, each and every one of you, for joining this workshop. Just to start off with, nRev is an agent operating system for GTM. What that means is that in today's world, we are moving away from point solutions and allowing businesses to be experimental in their GTM while not requiring to have any upfront costs. And as you all know, as business owners, we need to experiment and try out different motions to know what sticks to the wall. Right? For example, say you want to find who visited your website. You don't have to invest in an RB2B or a Swan going forward. You can just import an agent off the shelf. Or say you want to automate your LinkedIn reach outs. You don't have to do that. You don't have to buy a Lemlist or a HeyReach, etc., to start doing that. In fact, some of you might have received some LinkedIn reach outs which were all automated and done through nRev. You don't even have to put an effort to build these out to be per se, because you can just import these playbooks that are already pre-built, customize them in simple, plain English prompts, and you can start using them in 5 minutes. Finally, we'll talk a little more about how you can do this at the end of the workshop. But talking a little about the mission, at nRev, our goal is to remove any complexity of you having to sift through all the tools or the time to operate on those tools or the people that you invest. Also, for all attendees, you can raise your hands or ask questions in the board that you have in front of you. We'll try to pick as many up as possible. Also, we have Jared here. Hi, Jared.
What's up?
Good, good. We're excited about this
How
session.
how's everybody here doing?
They won't be able to respond to you, but I think
They can't respond?
they
Can we
can't
get them
respond as
on?
much.
Oh man,
You can say
what
a hi
what
already.
what I'm so excited about for today is go to market has become more and more complex, and it's silly. The reason why is because it's benefiting people who are making money off that complexity. It's benefiting technology companies that are making money off that complexity. It's benefiting every part of the ecosystem outside of the company that has to pay all this money, pay all this time, have all these processes and all of this. And I'm just talking like everything right down to GTM engineers is just complexity. Like, y'all, everybody here, give me a thumbs up if you think GTM engineer is just an outbound agency that uses Clay. Was that too much of a hot take, everybody? Aradia is here for it. Think about that. How many GTM engineers deal with NRR? Huh? How many are like actually optimizing the full funnel? Confused? Why do we have all of this complexity? If you're an outbound agency, be an outbound agency. Yes, there are all these tools. When I asked Sayanta, what's your tech stack? Because I thought that this was going to really stump him. I was waiting to hear 20 tools for go to market, another 80 tools for managing the company. And he said just two. HubSpot, and he tried to take HubSpot out. He really did, and soon he will. And nRev. That's a pretty good segue to simplifying things, right? And he's trying to simplify that CRM more, and I'm going to keep pushing him. And Aradia that's a big task that you have as well. But you have other fish to fry to start, and I'm excited to learn these three agents that we're going to build. I'm not technical, also as well. GTM today, AI today, 2025 is the year that people are more technical win in AI, right? The N8N people, they win 2025. 2026 is the year where everybody wins. This whole shit's getting
Love that, Jared.
democratized. The difference is who is actually thinking, not who knows how to use the tools. Let's go.
Thanks, Jared. Yeah, and we are going to kick out HubSpot very soon. Perfect. Here with me, he's going to pull up his screen and start showing you the agents that he's going to be building. But to start off, we're going to start off with something that is very simple, but still takes a lot of time from us every day and from each of our teammates, which is basically the world of sales navigators and Zoom infos. What if we have to find pinpointed people and not waste our time on sifting through people who are not important for us? Can we solve that problem in 2 or 3 simple steps? Radhya, over to you.
Awesome. Hey everyone. As Shanta said, we've all tried to look out for the right people at the right company at the right time. And it's really walking a tightrope. If you open up the gates, you get too many irrelevant people. If you just try to close them, you end up always living in the fear that, hey, maybe I'm just missing out a few people. So over here, I'll just share my screen and try to build out something to solve this problem very quickly. Let me know if my screen is visible.
It is Radhya.
Awesome. So I'll just go into nRev and create a workflow from scratch. Of course, you can build this with our AI builder as well. But in order to just really get intimate around how it gets built out, I'll do it myself manually. So in order to just start off, I'll just say that maybe we can just start by searching people. So I'll just type in search people. Awesome. I have something. Yeah, perfect. So let's say I want to find the relevant people for nRev at a company called, let's say, PriceLabs. So I'll just type in their domain. I'll add in a bunch of keywords, let's say sales, GTM, RevOps, founders, chief, because we want to go for the C-suite people. I'll even go with operations,
Let's put in revenue as well.
Yeah.
We just want to show how wide a net you can cast.
I'm just trying to cast a big net. I've even let in a word like operations in, and I'm also going to include similar titles. And then let's say, yeah, I think we're good. I'll just run this. So it very quickly will get me a bunch of people. Yep, and it's done. So I received 34 people that might be relevant for me, along with all their relevant information like the name, title, where they live, some stuff about their organization, etc. So now, but obviously, since I opened up the gates, I want to control it. And I just want to ensure that all the people present actually belong to my relevant persona. So for this, I'll try to classify them into the relevant personas and just weed out the relevant ones. So I'll just invoke a classify block here. And whoa, it asks me for what do you need to classify? What are the instructions? In what keys do you want to classify it? And let's just say I'm just too lazy for it. I'll just go in and I'll just type in a prompt. Here, I'm simply saying using the title, headline, seniority, employment of the person, I want to classify them into this. I'll just hit generate and it will create a detailed prompt for me in order to classify the right people according to what exactly I'm looking for. So this takes a couple of seconds and it's done. So now it's referred all the information that was coming in as variables, created the classification keys for me. And in order to just get better accuracy, I can even include reason so that I can reconcile later. And yes, we're good to go. I'll just hit run for this. So here you'll see we are essentially making 34 AI calls, but nRev is built for scale. We run everything in parallel in order to ensure that you get the right velocity while building out stuff. So this should be done in a few seconds.
And in the meanwhile, let's also create the filter.
It's all done. So in my data set, we just added this layer where the class associated with each person is also mapped. And you can see it automatically weeded out a lot of different people, along with giving a specific reason why it made that decision. Now, obviously, it's quite simple. We just have to filter this out.
The classification, by the way, also helps in being very targeted towards the messaging that you have towards different parts of the audience as well. And plus, of course, it helps us remove all the junk from that list.
Yeah, absolutely. So here I'll just say class is not equal to others, and it's done. So as I said, now this is a very, I would say, a very simple workflow that will always ensure I get the right people. But we're all always drowning in different tools. And why not we try to build a Slack app out of it? And just in order to ensure, let's say we create a channel, let all the people in, and they can just type it in free form, find me people at this company, find me people in this company and this country and stuff like that. And the bot automatically wakes up, performs these exact 3 blocks and replies with all the relevant people. So let's give it a
This
shot.
is to, sorry, for interrupting, but yeah, this is to make sure that none of your team members ever have to do this job ever again. So they just type in the account name into one Slack channel and that's it. You just always get the right people.
Yeah. So on nRev, you get a bunch of connections. You get Slack, Apollo, Salesforce, etc. And obviously, we have a lot more, so we can bring those up on request as well. Anyway, so I'll just let's say I'll just invoke a listening node called new channel message, something like that. New message. Yeah, I have it. Yeah. So I'll just let's say I'll connect my Slack account. I'll configure a channel where this will be needed. So all my channels are fetched. I'll just say, okay, I'm in a lot of channels. I'll just load a few more. Yeah, found it. Perfect. Here I'll also decide that I want to ignore bots because my own bot will be replying there. And we're good. Now I'll just test the step and maybe send a simple message. Find me relevant people in browser stack. So it takes a couple of seconds to just relay the message received on the Slack channel here. Yeah, I have it. So I have the entire payload and here's my message. And obviously I don't have to worry about the entire JSON. I'll just drop in a sort of an AI gatekeeper. Our node is called Ask AI. I'll just call it gatekeeper because people write in free text and we obviously want to generate configurations for the search people block. So I'll just call it gatekeeper. Perfect. Yeah. So I'll just write, I just received a message given below. I'll just drop the entire payload. I don't have to worry about it. Your job is to extract the domain name from the message. I can choose from a bunch of models. I'll use the O4 Mini in this case. And then here's the beauty. I can either go for free text, which won't be exactly recommended here. So I'll just go for a structured output and I'll just say it will return a variable called domain name with domain of the company in abc.com format. Perfect. Yeah, I'll just hit run and it should be able to carve out the domain name of the company I requested. In the meantime, yeah, let's just check for the output. Yeah, it figured out I had just written browser stack, but it generated into a clean, crisp variable for me. And I can use it for search people now. So I'll just invoke the search people node again here. I'll just refer the domain name directly. I'll just copy the variables and delete this one. Yeah.
By the way, people, I think we'll show that, but everything that Aradhya had typed in into the gatekeeper itself, all the structured input and output in case you don't like JSONs are not familiar with it, even that is not necessary. There is a button, Aradhya, if you can show it, like you mentioned for the classifier itself, you just can ask the AI to create that configuration. You have to know nothing about the node. You can just get it configured by AI.
Yeah. So for each configuration, we have a generate with AI button. Feel free to go crazy with it. Generate anything and everything you want. Anyway, so yeah, this is done. I'll just run this classifier, filter out the people, post that. And then in the meantime, I'll just build ahead. So let's say now, given I've sent this message, I want to send the list of people as a reply. So I'll just say send Slack message. Again, choose my account. I'll just select the same channel. By the way, I can even refer the channel as a variable, but it's okay. And we went more. Yeah. And I'll just drop in, let's say, name of the person, first name, last name. In the interest of time, I'll just give in the LinkedIn and let's say their title. By the way, we have dedicated blogs to get their posts, personalized stuff, even waterfall enrichers. But in interest of time, we'll just build the main infrastructure for it. Yeah. So I have all this. I'd like to, let's say, keep my bot a bit fun. So I'll just give it an emoji as a face, as an image, let's say a detective. I'll even ensure that it replies to the exact message. Otherwise, my channel will get crowded. So I'll just refer the message and then I'll just type in timestamp. And let's just give it a name also. Customer bot username. Let's say person hunter. Anything. Yeah. I think we're good. I'll just hit this filter. And so from 100, it brought me down to 33 people. And I'll send them on Slack as a reply. Yeah, it's automatically started to reply with all the people. Obviously, on nRev, every message you send is markdown format compatible. You can drop in emojis, etc. as well to make it look prettier. But yeah, does the job. If you don't want Slack, by the way, from here, you can even go and write into a bunch of things. I can actually go and write this into a Google Sheet. I can directly, let's say, create emails and ingest them as email drafts. I can write them into my CRMs, etc. as well.
So for all of us who have built this on N10 would know it takes at least like 20 nodes and 2 API calls to do this, but let's forget about that. So I asked Aradhya to build something that is terribly useful for at least us, and I'm sure all of y'all who wear the sales hat every day will find this useful. So for everything that we send out of our typically, I mean, at least twice or thrice in a week, we keep falling out on follow-ups, right? And this could be not just prospecting, but during our deals, etc. Anything of that. So whenever we're reaching out, can we have someone who reminds us that you had reached out here and you need to follow up, right? So, okay, so Aradhya has something built out already. But it's a simple, it looks like a long chain, but it's just I think 10 or 11 nodes because most of it is just interacting with the Gmail.
Yeah. So rather than just going through this, I was too lazy. I asked my AI builder to explain it for me. So in a gist, this workflow identifies potential sales threads. So it just performs a Gmail search on all the emails I've sent out in the last 2 weeks. As you can see, I've just connected Shayanto's Gmail account, dropped in a label filter, and dropped in a simple query that's used on the Gmail search. I fetch out everything. I create summaries of each thread that's going out. So, and also, by the way, I try to carve out all the emails into customers versus vendors because obviously we need that classification. Once that is done, I find out all the emails, especially in that thread using the subject lines, perform a double filter to ensure that in case I've sent out multiple emails with the same subject line, I just map them with the thread ID. And then again, create very simple thread summaries and see whether I want to perform an action or not. So once I have this, once I have the entire thread context, we have simply classified into an actionable when a person has already replied to us, but we haven't replied, and a follow-up where essentially we've been ghosted. But yes, along with that, we obviously get the entire thread summary, propose next email, what is the domain of the company that we interacted with in the specific thread. And again, we send it out to Slack. So just to give you an example, nRev Ops Tracker. Again, here we get a bunch of notifications that, okay, your opportunity needs an actionable. We get the entire thread summary and a proposed response so that we can simply go out and follow up.
The coolest part about this is that I possibly receive at least like 10 to 15 different emails that are people who are trying to sell to me. And all that is eliminated. This is only for people whom I am trying to sell to and ones that I've missed out on following up. So yeah, that's the cool part. And by the way, guys, if you're thinking that you'll have to build this out, no, absolutely not. Anything that we built out on this session is going to be passed over to you, which you can just import. Rather, if we could just show how you import, but if you just need to import the file, there's no other complexity.
Yeah.
So if you the three dots, yeah.
Yeah. So for each workflow, this is, I'll say we took it out of Aniten's book. For each workflow, you can essentially, we would have downloaded it and it goes as a JSON. And on nRev, again, I can simply import it and upload this exact JSON. Let's say, yeah. I'll just hit import. And this workflow, and yeah, everything gets copied and I can now use it. Of course, I'll have to just connect to Slack or Gmail in this case. But yes, rest of it is already customized, so you won't have to worry about anything.
Okay. And there was a relevant question I think Rajoshi asked. How is this taken out of the book of N10 and how do you, I think, is it safe to assume that these are custom nodes built on top of N10? Like Rajat mentioned, no. And more importantly, one very stark difference that we brought about from in the GTM context is that all your data is retained. Every time you run a node, it's going to retain it no matter how many times you run it, and you can download the data from there. So you never lose data, right? That's just one of the things that we mentioned. And for me to share my and show you something that is even more complex, but even more valuable. So this is a brilliant play. Awesome. Yeah, this might look a little complex, but this is a brilliant play built by one of our customers where and I've spoken about this a few times on LinkedIn, where you can literally have a peek into your competitors' pipeline, not their customers, but the deals that they're currently chasing today. So what we are typically doing is I could actually go in and show you all of these, but I'll not. So what we've done is, so there's a handy assistant right by you who just not only helps you build out these things, but also edit it at wherever you want to edit by simple instructions and also explain to you what is happening, right? So it tells me exactly what is happening at any point in time. It also points out which node it is happening in. And let me just still give you an overview. What is happening is basically we are tracking every single sales rep, their CXOs, as well as any BDRs of our competitors. And we're looking for all kinds of LinkedIn activities. It could be replies to comments, posts, reposts, likes on any comments or the post, etc. Right. So typically what we notice is around 85% of the activities of any sales rep or a salesperson is on their prospects. The rest 10 to 15 is on sales gurus or leaders. And if we can remove that by filtering through your ICP, that's pretty much what you need to get a peek into your competitors' pipeline. Right. And the last bit is actually even more crazy. Where can I change my list of competitors and my ICP definition? So firstly, you don't have to change any API or anything of that sort. But all you need to do is just this list, and it points out here to change your list of competitors. You want to edit the competitor sheet upload. So this comes in from a sheet uploaded, but we could just plug it into a Google Sheet, etc., where you can have a live list of competitors. So every week it runs, it can pick up from that list of competitors and then search for their sales reps and then do the rest of it. And then where do I need to change my ICP definitions? Again, one simple node, which is in 12, and it's called find potential fit companies. Let's quickly get to that. Yeah, I can see it. So find potentially fit companies. So basically what we're doing is going ahead and checking what your ICP definition looks like. And that's pretty much it actually. Let me use this. And this is what the end looks like. So let me just show you some of the results here. Yeah, the final looks like this. And I'll actually, in the meanwhile, share it on Slack itself. So let me run these two nodes. It beautifully populates the Slack on these things. But yeah, this is what it looks like. So basically, one of the competitors is interacting with. So what we're looking at is the company Axio is getting engagement from HighSpot here again, HighSpot here again, and then HighSpot here again. So multiple engagements on the same company that you get the actual comments that they're talking about. In fact, in some cases, they've explicitly mentioned it was lovely having a conversation with you and looking forward to onboarding you, things of that nature. And if I can go to my Slack, then we search for demo tracking. And yeah, so this is all there. So you know the competitors which you're targeting, and then I can just run the next node. And it'll pick up all of these and start populating here. So I've just done it once before. So you will start seeing things like this. So basically, who is interacting with whom, and all these are linked. And what is the exact post and what is the activity there. So one last thing that this again does not need to be built out. We have this entire section of plays or playbooks, as they're calling them. These are microservice kind of offerings where you don't have to think about buying a tool here. For example, this competitor intelligence is here. But anything like on RB2B, you will find here anything that has to do with funneling through your inbound lead, you will find within the playbook called Zero Leak Inbound Funnel. And there are more playbooks around founder-led sales, which talks about a lot of productivity as well as efficiency hacks, CRM data hygiene. Slightly larger companies would require this activation of PLG users, goes through the entire journey, applicable to us as well, entire journey from when you first hit a touch point with a person to when they start getting activated. Yep, that's pretty much it for what we had to show.
This has been really nice.
Thank you. Yep, I think so. I must thank everyone who's joined. I hope all of y'all can come back to us with a use case and we'll show you on how to automate them. Any use case on the side of GTM is worth solving on nRev, and happy to give you access. And you'll also get these automations that we showed on the call today on your email. So whenever you log into your nRev workspace, you'll be able to just import them into your workflows and boom, that's done. You never have to do those tasks again. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Jared. Thanks, Aradhya. Thanks, everyone.
You. Bye.
So excited. Let's go.